Jai Shri Krishna. Ready for a story? Now this story starts out in a celebration. There's a wedding, a royal wedding. King Kansa has just celebrated the wedding of his dear sister Devki to Vasudev, another noble in the court. And Kansa could not be happier. He said, I will drive your chariot myself. And he sat and he took the reins in his hand and he made his way through the streets of Mathura. And all around, everyone was laughing and celebrating and singing. And suddenly, there was a clap of thunder. And a voice spoke loud and bold over the crowd. Everybody went silent. And the voice said, You fool, Kansa. That sister who you so lovingly take to her home, her 8th child will destroy you. Now, Kans was a king who had absolute power, and he didn't want to have anyone threaten him, even if it was his own sister's child. He jumped out of the chariot, and he grabbed his sister, and he drew his sword, and Vasudev came and said, Please, O king, this does not suit you. Let your sister go. Let us go in peace, and I promise I will turn over our children to you. He had to say whatever he could to get out of Gans's clutches. Gans said, Oh, of course you will. But not only that, I'm going to keep an eye on you. From now on, you're not going to your palace. You are going straight to jail. And he jailed his sister and her newly wedded husband, so Vasudev and Devki began to live in a jail cell. And sure enough, every child they would have, Gans would storm in, take it away from them, and destroy it. This happened 7 times, and finally, on a dark night, the 8th night, it was another storm. The rain was falling, there were flashes of lightning and rumbles of thunder, and the river Yamuna in the distance was rising. And when the little baby was born, he was as dark as night, so cute and charming. And he was born, he screamed loudly, and Devki and Vasudev shushed him because they noticed that the guards had fallen asleep. And what's this? The jail door, the cell door was open? Vasudev wasted no time. He put the little infant in a basket and covered him up. And he took him out into the storm. And he covered him as best as he could. And he waded out into the Yamuna River. He had to get this little boy as far from Mathura as he could. And he knew he had a friend in a little village called Gokul named Nanda. And he could count on Nanda. And so he waded into the river, and the river rose from all the rain. And Vasudev took his precious bundle and put the basket on his head. And from somewhere, a 1,000-headed serpent came and covered the little sleeping baby with his many, many heads. And Vasudev made his way through the river. And when he got to the other side, he walked to the village of Gokul, where Nanda Baba, with many, many beautiful cows tied in his front yard, was waiting. He somehow knew that Vasudev was coming. And his wife, Yashoda, had just given birth to a little baby girl. And Nanda Baba said, Look, I have a feeling about this. This baby, my daughter, she's no ordinary child. Gans won't be able to do anything to her. But we need to keep your 8th child safe so that he can do what he needs to do at the right time. So they switched the babies, and Vasudev went back to Mathura through the Yamuna River with this little baby girl who glowed with a strange power. And as soon as he got back into the cell doors clanged shut, and of course, who would arrive a few moments later but Kansa. My guards tell me there was another baby. Hand it over. Devki clutched her and he said, she's a little girl and just please, brother, please. But no, Gans was cruel and he was scared of what would happen when Devaki's 8th child grew up. So he grabbed the little girl and she slipped straight from his hand and flew up into the air. And she was no longer a baby, but she was a fully grown goddess. Her many, many hands spread out, weapons in each of them, and she glowed with a blinding light. "Oh, fool Kansa," she said, "I am Vishnu's Yogmaya. I am his divine yogic power. And the one who is going to destroy you, who is an avatar of Vishnu himself, he is far away and safe, and you will not be able to destroy him." And she disappeared. And Gans was so angry, and he could not believe that the 8th child had slipped from his clutches. And so he told Vasudeva and Devaki, "Don't think you've won. I'm going to make it my mission to find that 8th child and kill my killer before he gets to me." And we all know that that 8th child, that dark, mischievous, cute little baby, is little Krishna, who spends the first many years of his life basically getting attacked by various demons and demonesses and forces and soundly defeating them, all while playing with his friends, playing the flute, stealing some butter, and all in all having a lot of fun. And that's the Krishna that we celebrate today on Janmashtami. I hope to see you again in another story. Jai Shri Krishna.